Hi everyone and welcome back to Sheri Approved. Today's video, let's get a little bit sensitive. So many people message me about helping them to create skincare routines, and a lot of times one of the first questions that I will ask is, what is your skin type? And it's such a popular answer for people to say, I have sensitive skin. And then I would say, okay, so what are you sensitive to? Oh, well, I don't really know. Things usually just break me out or, that kind of thing. And people just go around with this concept that they have sensitive skin. Maybe rightly so, many times not. And they really have no idea what they're talking about. So in this video, I want to share with you a little bit of some of the things that I have learned about sensitive skin to help you determine, do you really have sensitive skin, or do you have something else, or have you even created the problem of sensitive skin that you are experiencing? So the first thing is, let's talk about that term sensitive skin. It's not even a clinical term. It's actually just an expression that is used to express the fact that your skin is just a little bit more easily irritated than other people, or a little bit more easily reactive to certain things, right? So that could be maybe sometimes ingredients. It could be, other topical things. It could be the environment. It could be the sun. It could be the wind. It could be cold, change in temperature. Did you know that it could even be lotions or fragrances or essential oils? So there are many things that your skin could be reactive to. Now, how does that show up? It shows up in different ways. So some people may experience redness, they may experience stinging, flakiness, dryness. Maybe sometimes you get like little pus fill, bumps on your skin, maybe scaling, rashes. There are all kinds of ways that sensitive skin could show up. But sometimes a lot of us are not really sure whether it was one particular thing that caused it. Is it an ongoing thing? Do I really have what we call sensitive skin? It's not even a term that dermatologists use a lot. In fact, they prefer to actually diagnose a particular issue. Now, you might be seeing me looking down. It's because I made some notes and I don't want to forget anything to share with you. Now, a lot of times, if you find any of these particular symptoms are happening over a period of time, it keeps recurring over and over and over again, that may be a sign that you do have an underlying condition. And my first thing that I will tell you is get to a dermatologist. Stop trying to diagnose yourself and, just keep buying products, and then you keep buying products and you're saying, why is this thing happening to me? Get a dermatologist to check, do you really have sensitive skin? Do you have an underlying condition? Perhaps you have something like dermatitis or topical dermatitis or atopic dermatitis. You can have psoriasis, eczema, all kinds of different issues show up that are really reactions to things, or maybe something, the way your skin responds to particular things, environment, or even things happening internally in your body that is causing your skin to react in these particular ways. So get a dermatologist to figure it out, because perhaps it's not even a product that you put in on your face. Perhaps it's the environment. Now, for example, a simple thing like pollen changing at certain times of the year, or in Trinidad, for example, we have the Sahara dust, which becomes very concentrated at certain times of the year. And you have no idea that, in fact, the things that are circulating in the atmosphere could actually be creating your sensitivity on your skin, as opposed to actual skincare products. In fact, just recently, I was speaking to a young lady, and she was telling me that she's thinking that a particular eye cream that she was using was bothering her because of what was happening around her eyes. And so after she was going through the motions of, stopping the eye cream, nothing was changing. And so I said to her, you know what, maybe you should visit the doctor or visit a dermatologist to find out what was going on, and only to find out that what was happening to her, the sensitivity that was occurring with her eyes, was actually the Sahara dust. And it wasn't just runny eyes, they were like little bumps that was coming out around her eyes, and it was the Sahara dust creating that particular sensitivity. So you really want to go to a dermatologist to kind of narrow down what is causing it. Is it a scent? Is it certain fragrances? It is a certain ingredient? Is it the combination of something that's creating the sensitivity? So we really want to start there. Now, a lot of times, for many people, sensitivity, barring that you don't have one of those particular conditions or underlying skin conditions that I mentioned before, like dermatitis or rosacea, etc. Barring that, a lot of times skin sensitivity, or how our skin reacts, has a lot to do with the natural skin barrier. Now, when we talk about skin barrier, we're talking about that most outer part, that outer part of the skin of the epidermis, or that the very top layer, that is really has like a fatty lipid barrier, and there's a reason for that. That thing is really important for us because it does two jobs. One, it helps to retain moisture and hydration in our skin, and two, it helps keeps the thing that we don't want in our skin out. So for example, pollution or infections, environmental things, that thing is important to protect our skin from anything that could be damaging to our skin. So if what we call your natural skin barrier has been compromised, or if it has thinned, or if it's not there, you will definitely experience sensitivity, because basically you don't have anything that's protecting your skin from anything else that's out there. So the simplest thing will create redness or create some irritation or burning or stinging, something like that. So we will talk a little bit more about that, but I want you to keep that in mind, because a lot of times as well, a lower lipid barrier sometimes is associated with dryness for some people, because you've actually just erased that fatty layer that really just kind of, puts a kind of slick on the skin and protects the skin. So the thinner that is, sometimes the more dry the skin and the more sensitive the skin is. The next thing is, did you know that your immune system actually plays a part in how sensitive your skin is? So a lot of times, if the skin experiences something that it realizes is an irritant and that penetrates the barrier, your body is actually going to go into protect mode, and it's going to do things to almost as a response, or an immune system response to what is trying to come in to the body or penetrate the skin. And that could be viewed as sensitivity, because a lot of times it may show up and some of the things that we call, my skin is being sensitive or my skin is being reactive. So sometimes it could be that your body is actually having an immune system response. And now, while that might be a one-off thing, if that keeps happening over and over and over again, eventually what is going to happen is that you can actually develop a skin allergy or an allergy to that particular thing, because your body is constantly responding to that thing. Again, you can find out if you are having this type of reaction, if it is actually an allergy that you have to a particular thing, a particular product, a particular ingredient. You can find this out by going to a dermatologist, taking notes of every single thing that you've used, everything that you've come into contact with, going to your dermatologist and basically literally fleshing it out until you figure out what's wrong. And I really want to talk about this because of the fact that a lot of people just keep buying products on top products on top products. They realize, listen, I'm having a reaction to this, I'm having a reaction, and I'm having a reaction to the other, and money is just being wasted, because the truth is, you keep saying that your skin is sensitive, but you have no idea. Sensitive to what? You have no idea. If you know what your skin is sensitive to, or what creates reactions, or what causes your skin to be a little bit more irritated, then you know to avoid those things. And you know that when you are buying products, so you're looking for products, you avoid particular ingredients, or whether it's essential oils or whatever. Okay, the other thing is, did you know that as we get older, our skin tends to become a little bit more sensitive? And again, that is actually related to what I spoke about with regards to your natural skin barrier, because naturally as you age, that thins. So as that thins, if you are not working assiduously in your skincare to build it and to maintain it, naturally you find as you get older, wait a minute, that never used to bother me before. How come is it bothering me now? So it's something to keep in mind, that as we get older, we need to spend a little bit more time focused on protecting our skin barrier. Now, one of the worst things that sensitive skin people can do, or people who think they have sensitive skin or skin that is reactive, is to be over exfoliating. And that's actually one of the reasons why some people become sensitive, because they have over exfoliated. So a lot of people have actually created the problem of sensitivity. Their skin wasn't that way, but they've become, and I mentioned this before, overzealous, and they either over scrub their skin because they're using a physical exfoliator every day, or they're probably not sure how to use acids. They're using strong acids all the time, as opposed to being consistent, having a rotation, knowing how often to use it, maybe probably using something gentler more consistently, or something stronger, more spread out. A lot of times people don't know what they're doing, and eventually if you are not careful about how you are using your skincare and using some of these what we call harsher things, you can actually create the issue of sensitivity on your skin. So, for example, sometimes people also become sensitive because they are combining the wrong ingredients, and I'm going to have a video coming up on that in terms of what ingredients we could mix, what we shouldn't, that kind of thing. Or they may be using the wrong things to their skin. So I have people coming to me and saying, I have oily skin, but when they really do the test or they really check, they actually don't have oily skin. They may even have normal or combo skin, sometimes even dry skin that is, or skin that is extremely dehydrated. So if you are not even sure about what your correct skin type is, it means that you may have been using the wrong products all the time, and therefore creating an issue or a situation where your skin is constantly fighting because of the wrong products that it's receiving, and therefore becoming, you know, more reactive or more irritable. A lot of times we get this, for example, with the use of SPF. So many people don't use SPF, cardinal sin. So many people don't use SPF because they say, oh my God, it either makes me greasy or whatever. But a lot of times I hear this, it makes my eyes burn. Or people will say, I can't use SPF because I'm sensitive to SPF, or it just doesn't work for me. And then I said, okay, what are you sensitive to? Most times when you really get it and you say, and I said, okay, so what types of SPF have you used? Oh, I'm not sure. And they just call, you know, the names of brands and so on. If you are finding that you're having a particular issue, pay attention to what you're using. Most times when we go down to the root, a lot of times people who experience burning eyes with SPF is because they're actually using chemical forms of SPF. And one of the ways to check that and to make sure that that is not going to, or to test if that's really the issue, is actually just to switch to a mineral SPF. And so many times, like, I encourage people to do that when they're doing it, like, oh my God, I've seen the light. Like, literally the issue was that you were just being reactive to the ingredients or the particular things at our chemical SPF. So switching over to mineral might just be your answer. Your skin is actually not sensitive. That ingredient just doesn't work for you. So it's really, really important to pay attention to these things. Okay, so if it is that you really find that your skin is sensitive or very reactive and that kind of thing, then you need to go through a process of elimination to try to find out what it is. So a lot of times I would recommend, and a lot of dermatologists also recommend as well, to stay away from products with fragrance. And I know that's hard because a lot of products have some type of fragrance, some more than some less. And you find a lot of times when I do product reviews, I will actually probably mention it in a line, please be advised or please be aware that this has a particular fragrance, because there are people who they're actually sensitive to that, or fragrances in products will actually cause them to have an irritation. But the thing is, it could also be very difficult to find fragrance-free and truly fragrance-free products. So keep that in mind. You also want to stick to products with a very simple ingredients list. So things that you could actually, you know, Google check. All right, this is going to be good for me. This may not be good for me. And that way it's going to help you narrow down very, very easily, you know, whether my skin is sensitive to a particular thing or not. Stay away from the things that are common irritants, or what, because of time and over time, we've come to know could create irritations on the skin. So some people stay away from sulfates. Some people, it may be particular dyes, like a particular coloring that is used in the product, or a particular emulsifier, or particular preservative. Sometimes it's the alcohols that are in a product that creates the irritation, the sensitivity on somebody's skin. So, I mean, it might sound like really exhaustive, or exhausting, I should say. But if you are really interested in getting the right things for your skin and you have been experiencing this issue, it's time for you to stop. Seriously, stop and take some time to figure it out. And then, like, so I mentioned fragrance, and one of the things that fragrances come from is essential oils. And a lot of us are like, oh my God, I need essential oils in my life. I love essential oils in my life. And, you know, and that's great. Essential oils have a lot of benefits. But for some people, just a little bit of essential oil in a particular product can create like a huge amount of irritation, redness, stinging, all kinds of weird breakouts, irritations, rashes, that kind of thing. So a lot of us may not be able to understand you know, why somebody may not be able to use something, and you know, vice versa. But seriously, for some people, that might be the cause. It just might be that you need to stay away from essential oils. It just might be that you may need to stay away from sulfates. It just might be that you need to stay away from, you know, X, Y, or Z. So when you say you have sensitive skin to what? And are you really sensitive? Do you have a particular underlying skin condition, or is it that you have created sensitivity? And if you have sensitive skin, like I said, or skin that has been diagnosed to have a particular condition, I want you to keep in mind that there are certain products that are just more sensitizing. So for example, a lot of us will use L-ascorbic acid, which is a very potent form of vitamin C, but a lot of people with regular skin are a little bit more sensitized with that because it could be a little bit more irritating because it's simply strong. AHAs, or acids as we call it, even people with normal skin will experience a little bit of a tingling, a little bit of burning. That doesn't mean you have sensitive skin. That's just how the product works. So we also have to kind of balance it with, you know, knowing this and keeping this in mind. Of course, if burning and stinging is being prolonged and going on for a long time, it may be that might just be too strong for you. Not necessarily that you're overly that you do have sensitive skin, but it just might be it's too strong for you. You need to calm down a little bit and then build up your tolerance to it. The same thing with retinoids. They are very, very strong. Some people use a strong one, have a reaction. Oh God, I have sensitive skin. No, you probably don't. You probably are started too strong. You probably were just a little bit overzealous, and you need to come back down and start at a, you know, a lower strength. So keep that in mind. And then the last thing that I'm going to say on, you know, in this video is that it's important to patch test. Skincare works different on many people. And while there are products that will work great on everybody, it could be that you are just the 1 out of 100 that this particular thing does not work for, or this particular product creates an irritation for. And you can only really sometimes find that out through trial and error, unless you've already figured it out and so you know what you need to avoid and that kind of thing. What I will advise is patch test. You get a product, you patch test it within your inner arm. Some people will patch test behind their ears or around their neck, simply because it's closer to their face, or they could kind of get a better idea of how their face will react to a particular product. Patch test everything, especially if you think you have sensitive skin. Patch test, get a dermatologist if it's persisting, if it's ongoing, because you may never know. Getting a diagnosis might just be the answer that you need, so that you know exactly what to use and what not to use. In my next video, we will talk about a little bit more about the skin barrier. And if it is that you have sensitive skin because you have a compromised skin barrier, what can you do to build it back and get your skin back to almost normal level? I'll see you guys in another video.